Hello. I am thrilled to be here with you today, and this is kind of a public service announcement of sorts. I have noticed that in the Half Size Me community, people post things of other podcasts they're listening to or other messages they're taking in. And I've seen this over the collective years that I do this, where somebody will say something like, if you eat when you're not hungry, your body immediately stores the food as fat. If you eat at these times, you're going to store the food as fat. If you eat these foods off this list, you will be a fat burner. Since I've been doing this in 2012, so much has come and gone as far as what's been popular. When I first started, it was paleo and the primal movement. Then we went into intermittent fasting. And then we went into keto. There's been the macro thing. There's been all these various things. And the reason I want to talk with you today is because if you can know a few basic fundamentals, like the hierarchy of fat loss, you will be doing so much better. And you can dismiss a lot of this crazy stuff you hear that tends to stress you out because you're getting caught up in details and information that really is not the most important. So years ago, I had stumbled across a great image from Tom Venuto called The Hierarchy of Fat Loss. I've seen it replicated several other places, not just him, where it breaks down the most important to the least important things to create fat loss, aka weight loss. And at the very bottom of the pyramid, the largest piece of the pyramid, it is all about your calorie deficit. Now, here's how you can bulletproof yourself from all the information out there. Listen for this person mentioning the words, you must be in a calorie deficit. If they don't mention a reduction in calories or an increase in calories over maintenance, and they're telling you all the things that are going to lead to you retaining fat, not losing fat, losing fat, that should be an immediate red flag. It should go bing, 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 bing. Oh, you know what? They didn't mention any of that. Because what they're trying to do is keep you distracted with things at the very tippy top of the pyramid, which really isn't where most people need to focus. If I were to say, 90% of my clients, once they get regularly aware of their caloric intake, whether they choose to track calories or not, once they're in an actual calorie deficit, they lose weight. They don't have to worry about combining certain foods, eating at certain designated times, omitting certain foods. It's really about them lasering in on the most effective way to get into a calorie deficit for them that doesn't trip them up. So I am going to post a link below to the hierarchy of fat loss. The reason I feel this message is so incredibly important is because if you look at it, the first level is calories. The next one up is macronutrients, aka protein, fat, carbohydrate. They then will go up, and it varies person to person whether they put supplementation, whether they do put meal frequency, meal timing, all of those kinds of things. Those are at the very tippy top of the pyramid. But what I will tell you is the majority of the population doesn't have the bottom level dialed in. So really all that top stuff, not essential. If you've got 50, 30, 100 pounds to lose, you need to just focus on the bottom level, okay? And when you're hearing all of these conflicting arguments, when you're hearing all of this information, I want you to print out a copy of the hierarchy of fat loss. And I want you to become kind of a sleuth, if you will. I want you to question some things. I want you to say, these claims that this magical potion or shake is going to help me lose weight, they never mentioned calories. They never mentioned I need to be in a caloric deficit. They never addressed any of that. That seems odd. When they told me if I eat and I'm not feeling hunger, I'm going to immediately store it as body fat, but it never mentioned if I'm not in a calorie deficit. So keeping in mind, people will market and sell to you however they think you're going to buy, okay? I have been around since 2012. I could have easily gone on one of these directions at any point. I haven't. I've stayed with it's pretty much get your calories in check and really work on your mindset, work on your habits, work on your behaviors, because I know that is it. And you can make things sound flashy and scary and exciting and so like intricate that you think you're doing something wrong if you don't do it this way. But I promise you, it's a ploy. It's not a real thing. And I want to save you from that. I had spent years chasing diet books, diet approaches, thinking that somebody was going to make it quicker, make it more effective, make it better. But the reality was none of it was true. And the hierarchy of fat loss was one of those things that really did transform my thinking on this to where I don't have to make it complicated. I don't have to make it super hard to follow. I can actually just kind of follow the hierarchy of fat loss, and I will eventually get to my goals. But the majority of the work, it's there in that bottom level of calorie management. So I just want to share this because as I see all these things come in, I think it's important we have a general public service announcement where we really kind of think about this a little bit differently. Remind yourself, if they're not mentioning calorie control, if they're not mentioning a way for you to get into a calorie deficit, if that never comes up, then more than likely they're kind of entrapping you in that very tippy top of the pyramid, which is not the biggest and most important thing. All right, my guys, you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.